A really common topic that shows up both in coaching and in my training programs is, how do I know when to let this employee go? It's a tough one, right? So as a manager, I want you to remember these 3 questions that you ask yourself first. How clear is the agreement with the employee? Have they been trained to do what I'm expecting them to do? And have I coached them? So let's start with the first one, the agreement. The agreement is the job description is very clear. The responsibilities are clear. The measures of success are clear. It could be your culture document, your code of conduct, your employee handbook. The agreement that you have with the employee that basically spells out, here's what's expected of you. Okay, that's the agreement. Be surprised how often that's actually at the core of the issue. Second is, have they been trained? Whether you hired someone who should have already had the training, or there was some training to do around your industry or in your business, have they been trained to do what I'm expecting them to do? Check, check. You can say yes. Have I coached them? This is when you stand back and you no longer tell them or direct them. Definitely don't micromanage them. And you have conversations with them that are specifically around their performance. Let's look at what else you need to learn here to perform in your role. What's your big goal this month? How will you go about doing that? What will you have to do really well? What will you have to ignore? What are you really learning here? How else could you learn that? Where could you go to find that? What will you be doing about that? How did you do this last week? What would you like to do better? How do you plan on making sure that happens? How will you let me know? So coaching, you now in a dialogue specific to their performance. And if you can say, yes, I've coached them. Yes, they're trained. Yes, the agreement is clear. Then it might be an ability thing. So for example, no matter how willing I am, I will never be a good administrative assistant. And you may have someone like that, like the kind of employee you really want to have, but they just don't have the ability to do that job. Is there somewhere else in your organization where they do have the ability? Could you put them there? And if not, then yes, the answer is it's time to invite them back out into the industry and to have that conversation with him. And you may be surprised. People really want to do a good job, and they know when they're not doing a good job. I've seen many employees be relieved when you have this conversation with them. And when they expected that conversation, you know you've done a good job as a manager because it did not come as a surprise to them.